Hold on, did Kirk Frost and young Jock just get caught up in the most shocking scandal of the year? You're not prepared for this one, people? A shocking video has leaked, and guess what? These two reality TV stars are now in custody following a vicious fight that left everyone wondering about everything they know about reality TV. But wait, there's more. Wasn't just any street fight. It was all part of a sick, twisted plan to increase the show's ratings. Yes, the producers, the networks, the whole thing was manipulated. You won't believe the dark, dirty details we're about to expose. Buckle up because this is going to be crazy. All right, people, let's set the scene. Former cast member Benzano is putting gasoline on this burning dumpster of drama by threatening to release old footage that could ruin the show's reputation and show how far the producers will go to create chaos for a paycheck. Imagine that. Now, the question is whether Kirk Frost and young Jock will ever recover from this PR disaster or if their reputation has been permanently damaged. They have been in the news for years, but this time it's not the typical love triangle or baby mama drama. Oh no, this time it's much darker, and the plot is thickening faster than you can say ratings boost. Here's the deal. Kirk Frost and young Jock, both well-known reality TV stars, have allegedly been arrested after a violent fight that was leaked on social media. What's the real story here? Was this a real confrontation between two former? This is where it gets juicy. You know anything about Kirk Frost and Jock? You know that their history isn't exactly spotless. From cheating scandals to DNA tests, to his complicated love life with Rashida, the man has been through it all. Young Jock, on the other hand, isn't far behind. Known for his flamboyant demeanor and smooth-talking ways, he's been involved in plenty of remember that whole hair situation? Well, let's just say that these two know how to keep the tabloids interested. However, what transpired here was not your average reality TV meltdown. Wasn't a drunken tirade or a small argument that could be resolved amicably. Rather, it was something significant. And it wasn't just a coincidence that the fight occurred at the ideal moment for the show's ratings. Now, if you're thinking there's no way this fight was real, you're not alone. Because here's the catch. It wasn't a wild outburst that caught everyone off guard. Instead, it was a staged spectacle that no one else planned. That's right, people. What we're dealing with here is a complete fabrication. The producers behind the scenes are the true masterminds of this whole mess. They realize that ratings are everything. And when your show starts to wane, you do the most dramatic and shocking thing you can think of. You get your stars to fight. You get them to blow up on camera. You create a mess so big that the entire world can't look away. And then you have some primetime drama that will keep the audience glued. The producers put Kirk Frost and young Jock in a room, told them to act like things were out of control, and then pushed them over the edge. And guess what worked? The cameras were rolling, the tension was high, and the fight was wild. But the problem is that it wasn't a real fight. These guys were acting, it was all for the show. Let's face it, everyone has a source in this business. When the video first appeared on social media, it went viral almost immediately. People were horrified, and convinced that these two men were actually going to be put in jail for what they had just done. The commotion surrounding the fight was so intense that everyone was wondering what the hell had happened. But behind the chaos, the producers were laughing uncontrollably. The network was celebrating the controversy they had so carefully planned. But the problem is that the public didn't realize it was a fake, and that's when things began to get out of hand. The producers were congratulating each other for creating this mess, but they forgot one important detail: Benzano. You remember Benzo, the former cast member who has been a part of the show's chaotic history? While Benzano wasn't just sitting idly by while all of this was happening, he had a plan of his own. Frost and young Jock had been arrested, and their careers were about to be ruined, and the Love and Hip Hop franchise was about to be hit by one of its biggest scandals ever. However, as is always the case with reality TV, things are never as simple as they seem. Benzano was allegedly prepared to release old footage that would reveal the show's manipulative tactics and turn this staged fight into an even bigger PR disaster. According to some, the old footage showed how the producers were behind the fight and how they pushed Kirk Frost and young Jock to the brink, knowing exactly what would happen once the cameras started rolling. This footage would ruin the reputation of not just Kirk and Jock, but the entire love and hip-hop empire. Suddenly, the drama was no longer limited to the TV screen and was set to spill into the real world. With Benzano threatening to the stage, was set for an epic scandal with these bombshells and the internet already raging with rumors and speculation. But wait, we're not done yet, because what comes next could be even more explosive than you can imagine. All right, let's take a deep dive into the fallout from the whole Kirk Frost and young Jock controversy. As we already know, the fake fight between these two former friends that was meant to boost ratings has completely backfired. But what the producers didn't expect was Benzano playing his own, as we've discussed. Benzano, the former reality TV troublemaker, had had enough of being marginalized and wasn't going to sit back and watch the producers make a mockery of the entire show. According to highly dubious anonymous sources, because in the world of fake news, everyone has a source, Benzano knew exactly what was going on behind the scenes and how the producers had manipulated Kirk Frost and young Jock into this fight for ratings, and he wasn't having any of it. This wasn't just some on-the-fly drama for the cameras. This was strategic manipulation meant to make the audience believe in the authenticity of these supposed beefs. Can you imagine the chaos this caused when the rumors began to circulate? The producers had already been consuming this fake fight between Kirk Frost and Young, and it was claimed that Benzo had footage so scandalous that it would shake the foundation of the show and expose them for the puppeteers they really were. Jock believed it to be true, but now Benzo was threatening to release these explosive tapes that would reveal the truth completely. You can imagine how the producers were sweating at this point. The pressure was unbearable. The worst part, though, is that if the tapes were leaked, they would not only demonstrate how the producers controlled the situation, they would also demonstrate to the world that reality TV shows aren't real. They are staged, scripted, and manipulated to the utmost extent possible. The world was unaware of this until the news broke about Benzo's alleged tapes. The public's reaction was intense, especially when the leaked footage began to surface. Let's just say that if you thought the fight between Kirk Frost and young Jock was shocking, wait until you see what the producers were hiding. These were not just random viewers who had no stake in the outcome. These were devoted fans who believed in the drama they were watching. They were unaware that everything, from the superficial arguments to the explosive confrontations, was carefully crafted to keep them coming back for more. This wasn't just a show about love, drama, and betrayal. It was a business that thrived on exploiting its talent, manipulating its viewers, and doing whatever it took to make a buck. Of course, the producers weren't about to sit back and let Benzano have the last word. They scrambled, denied, and did everything in their power to cover up the situation, but their efforts were futile. Once Benzo's tapes were out there was no turning back. The public outrage was swift, brutal. And let's take a moment to talk about the real stars of the scandal. Kirk Frost and young Jock. These two men who were once adored by their fans for their chaotic lives and love triangles suddenly found themselves at the center of a scandal from which they were unable to escape. When the fight first aired, fans were shocked and glued to their screens as they watched these two men tear into each other. The video of the fight went viral within hours, and people began drawing their own conclusions about what happened. Was it a heated altercation between two men who had reached their breaking point? Or was it a planned catastrophe meant to the ambiguity of reality TV keeps viewers guessing, keeps them invested in the drama, and gives them the impression that they are witnessing something raw and uncut? However, when the truth began to leak, the audience was torn. Could they ever trust reality TV again? The entire industry felt the heat of this scandal, with networks, sponsors, and even other reality stars beginning to question the legitimacy of these shows. Of course, the producers wanted that. As the scandal involving Kirk Frost and young Jock continues to unfold, it's becoming increasingly clear that their careers and their reputations may never recover. However, what's next for them? And what about everyone else involved in this web of manipulation, betrayal, and exploitation? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the legal implications. The public's reaction was nothing short of explosive. They took to social media to call out the producers, demand answers, and even boycott the show. That's right. The public outcry wasn't just about Kirk Frost and young Jock anymore. It was also about the people behind the scenes. When the world gets a glimpse behind the curtain of reality TV, things can go south very quickly. Although Kirk, Frost, and young Jock may have believed they were just complying with a ratings-boosting scheme, it turns out that the fallout is far more serious than they anticipated. Benzo's leaked footage has exposed a web of corruption and manipulation that goes beyond the fight between these two. The producers, the ones who planned this entire staged conflict, are now under investigation. What they're going to do about it? So let's guess lawsuits. Oh, you can bet that the legal teams are already lining up, ready to throw the book at everyone involved. Benzo isn't going to let go either. He knows the power he has now, and with those tapes in his hands, he has leverage, and he's not afraid to use it. Kirk Frost and young Jock might not be the only ones in trouble. The producers may be facing civil suits, financial penalties, and possibly even criminal charges for conspiring to defraud the public. The legal landscape is going to be a nightmare. We can already picture the lawyers doing to try to avoid this catastrophe. But let's face it, Kirk Frost and young Jock will probably end up with a damaged reputation that cannot be repaired by PR. They may attempt to salvage their careers with statements or apologies, but the public won't forget easily. Of course, the consequences don't end there. What about the network and the producers? They are now directly linked to the controversy and can't avoid the backlash probes. The entire infrastructure that permits these kinds of toxic, manipulative schemes to occur is now the subject of investigations and restructuring. The producers may have believed they could get away with staging a fight for the sake of ratings. But now they are responsible for everything. Imagine this. The network executives who approved this entire operation are under tremendous pressure. If any of them become involved, it could result in significant changes, resignations, possibly even the firing of producers, corporate restructuring, and, of course, the reality TV show itself. There is already a crisis of credibility in the world, and shows like this thrive on the appearance of authenticity. If viewers begin to doubt the veracity of everything they watch, we may witness the demise of an entire genre. What will happen to the network? Will they use this scandal as a chance to clean house? Or will they try to hide it? Only time will tell, however. It's not just the show that's feeling the heat. Sponsors and advertisers are already scrambling. Major brands that had partnered with this show are rethinking their partnerships because no one wants to be linked to a scandal of scandal this size. Sponsors may stop funding them, and advertisers may start looking elsewhere, which would mean fewer opportunities for all parties involved. However, let's take a moment to focus on the stars. Kirk Frost and young Jock have spent years establishing their careers, but their involvement in this fictitious fight may be their downfall. It may be a long road, but rehabilitation will take more than a few interviews or an apology. They will need to show sincere regret, take responsibility, and somehow win back the public's trust. That's easier said than done. The public's perception of these two men has already changed. They were once viewed as beloved, hated, and, most importantly, entertaining reality TV staples. Now, they are seen as puppets who were used by producers for entertainment purposes. It's possible that fans will forgive them in the end, but the media won't let them off that easily. Kirk Frost and young Jock will have to deal with the fact that they were revealed as pawns in a game they believed they could control. And let's not even talk about the fans who are now doubting their perception. After all, we live in a time when scandalous entertainment reigns supreme, and some people love nothing more than a good old scandal. If we're being honest, reality TV fans are cruel and have short memories, but this is something they won't forget. What happens to the fan base when the curtain comes down and the magic trick is revealed? They might completely turn away, or they might keep returning for more. Kirk Frost and young Jock might just find themselves in the same cycle they were in before. Constantly we're left wondering what will happen when the world realizes how fake the drama is. Will the audience tune out, or will they continue to watch, more invested than ever in the manufactured chaos? You, the viewer, may have an opinion on this. Are you ready to watch Kirk and Jock rebuild their lives and careers, or will you move on to the next phase? The bigger question here is, how will Kirk and Jock recover? Can they rebuild, or will they be forever tarnished by the scandal? Only time will tell, but one thing is for certain: this mess will have long-lasting effects on everyone involved. The fate of Kirk Frost, young Jock, and the entire reality TV empire may depend on you. However, before we wrap up, I have a few important questions for you. Do you think these men can ever turn their lives around? Or is this scandal the beginning of the end for them? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. And remember to subscribe for more insider information on the world of fake reality TV drama. And there you have it, people, the incredible tale of Kirk Frost and young Jock, who believed they could stage a fight for ratings, only to be entangled in a web of lies and repercussions. However, if you think this story was crazy, wait until you see what we have next. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and join the family, because we're just getting started. We have more exclusive content, insider scoops, and the biggest entertainment stories that you won't find anywhere else. Also, we want to know what you think. Do you think Kirk Frost and young Jock can ever recover from this massive scandal? Or is the final nail in the coffin for their reality TV careers? Let's chat. Otherwise, be sure to pay attention, hit the like button, and prepare for the next shocking revelation. We'll be delving deeper into the realm of phony reality TV drama in the upcoming video, which you won't want to miss. Subscribe. Now, hit the bell and let's continue this crazy ride. I'll see you shortly.